Hey all, I hope you're doing well today. I just thought today would be a good day to talk about integrity. And I'm going to talk about what integrity means to me. And a few of my life lessons. I just remember being in military police school as a young woman. And one of the drill sergeants there would always talk, well, not just one, but all of them would talk about integrity. And Drill Sergeant Sloan, he was one of the drill sergeants that talked mostly about it. He was a senior drill sergeant. And it really stuck in my head. And for a little while, I was platoon leader. That's a whole long story. That was funny too. And somehow I accidentally took one of the keys. I had a key to like a closet or the bay or something when I was going to my permanent duty station. So what I did was I wrapped it up in a greeting card, sent it back to the drill sergeants, and said, "Here's the key. I forgot to turn it in. And this is about integrity." Something like that, you know. I just remember that's kind of where the word came on my radar. Not that my parents didn't teach me a lot about being integrous. I think that's how you say it. But I love that word. I learned that word from a former friend of mine, integrous. But I've always incorporated integrity into my life as much as I can. And what having integrity means to me is, one, knowing what your values are. So, like, if you want to live up to who you really feel either you are or you want to set high standards for yourself, you have to have integrity. And oftentimes your viewpoint of what integrity is going to be similar to what other people believe integrity is. And those are the more, I would say, high standard people of moral character, of integrity, having values that honor and respect children, other adults, respect women and men without forcing other either agendas or dogmatic viewpoints on other people. If you have your values, someone else can hold different values as long as it's not against a person's will, as long as you're not harming other people, or harming children. That's what integrity means to me. Integrity means to me to do the right thing when no one else is watching. And yes, I didn't create that one. I've heard it a million times. But it really resonates with me. When you do the right thing when other people are not watching you, that shows you really truly are a person that has integrity. Integrity is just something that is inside of you that takes hold because of the thoughts that you have, the consciousness that you hold. Integrity doesn't like to put on a show. Integrity is raw, it is real. Integrity does not look for words to impress people. It doesn't look for words that are appropriate, because integrity automatically knows the right word to use, because it's natural. It's not false. It's not putting on a show. Integrity is holding someone or yourself accountable even when it's a little stressful or difficult to do so. Integrity survives even when you're finding it difficult to go through and do the right thing. Integrity does not have to be liked. Integrity does not need to be popular. Integrity stands the test of time. Integrity is not worried about the narrative. Integrity is not worried about how others see you. Integrity is pure. Integrity is not worried about whether the dots line up, whether the story you're putting out or the story that you're telling is adding up. Because when you have to worry about a story lining up too much, that means it's built on false grounds. Oftentimes, standing in truth and standing in integrity is very close to each other. I personally believe integrity cannot live without truth. People that have a lot of integrity often wind up either not very wealthy, they don't get the promotions, they don't get brownie points, they don't get the, what's that called? I'm looking for this word. They don't get the advance or the extra incentive at work that was promised. Sometimes they don't get custody of their children. Unfortunately, when you're living in a matrix, multi-level matrix that there's a mixture of good and evil, dark and light, evil and benevolence, the overriding consciousness is often diabolical. Worried about power, worried about greed, without moral conscience, attempting to push their evil, malevolent, despicable, repugnant, filthy ideas and agendas down integrous people's throats, which do not value children, think harming children is fine, have no conscience. I believe integrity stands the test of time. If you are a person that has integrity, you can go home every night, look at yourself in the mirror, and feel good about what you've done that day. A person that has integrity, if maybe they were harassed or pushed into doing something that doesn't sit right with their soul, they won't feel good at the end of the night. In fact, when a person that has tremendous integrity walks into a room of more diabolical, weasel, snake-like, venom-holding scumbags, they're going to get a really bad feeling. It's even like Abraham Hicks talks about, and they reiterate, birds of a feather, which is true. Are you okay with collusion? Are you okay with conspiring against people of moral, ethical integrity? If you're not comfortable around people of strong moral, ethical character who possess integrity, that means you are less than having integrity. You don't have it. In my opinion, the worst kind of integrity is false integrity. You see a lot of throughout our society. You see a lot of either corporations, sometimes churches, a lot of times churches, or groups of people, chosen career paths that have all these fancy quotations, so-called mission statements, policies, rules, strategies, sales plans, commercials, marketing, about how they're going to help the world, they're going to save the world, they're going to clean up the ocean to help the fish and the ducks and the wildlife, the sea life, from being poisoned or whatever it is. But when you start to go and do a little research deep inside of maybe that corporation, that church, that fraternal brotherhood, maybe sisterhood, maybe fraternity, sorority, college, whatever it is, start to do a little bit of research and you find out there is no integrity, because at the end of the day, it's all to keep the wheel in the beast system moving, which mostly runs on vampirism, greed, power, covering up sexual crimes against women, sexual crimes against men and or boys, and children, all children. Because they're morally corrupt and they have no integrity, no ethics, no morals. And if you do have a lot of integrity, you will be able to decipher people that are not like you. It's very easy. So what the vampires like to do is they like to attack you instead. Take the attention off of them, put the attention on you. Just like some of these stories that I'm reading. It's just unreal. Some of these titles in these news stories stating a police officer, 31 years old, has a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old. Excuse me? It's just one example. It's not just cops, it's everywhere. And then you have people that do have integrity, whether they're a police officer, firefighter, maybe they are a CEO of a company. And then because that person wants to do the right thing, they push them out. I learned all this stuff a long time ago. That's why I don't do well in the Matrix. The only time I would do well is to kind of do my own thing, you know? And I'm talking about career-wise or business-wise. And in those cases, you're going to run into, occasionally you might run into people with less integrity. And it's your choice whether you want to interact with them or not. And of course, I subscribe to and believe in law of attraction. Whether you believe in it or not, it's real. Me personally, that's why I'm not into religion at all. But I'll nicely respect that you are a religious person as long as you don't push it on me. See, that's lacking integrity. Anytime you're trying to push something down someone's throat, that's lack of integrity. Whether it's politics, religion, whatever it is. I found that when I was in my 30s, I started to put the patterns together why I was uncomfortable in certain places. And it doesn't mean that the people that I was around were bad people, because they weren't. But we just had different values. That happened in workplaces, that happened with family members, so-called friends. That's when the feelings that you want to kind of get away from them started to come in. When you realize that your values don't line up. I remember I was going to these various gyms, like health clubs. And there was a lot of drinking going on. And I didn't like that. It's not that I never had a drink. I did. Can't really drink now. That's fine. But it's, and of course too, because there was a lot of that going on when I was a child, I was very averse to that. I didn't want anything to do with it. So values and integrity go hand in hand. But really, at the end of the day, if you are a person that has integrity, you go home, you look in the mirror. Do you feel good about what you've done that day or in your life? Or do you feel bad? Because that will tell you if you really have integrity.